again, Peter. From this stage, in many years past, we have honored a lot of Hollywood celebs, many war veterans like Louis Zamperini, and many other distinguished guests. But this year, we have selected someone who considers herself to be someone, just as an ordinary person, but one who's had extraordinary opportunities. Maureen Nunn prides herself in being a wonderful wife. John, where are you? I think you would agree with that. Where's John? There. Hi, John. Certainly a wonderful mother and grandmother to her whole family. But that's not the reason we're acknowledging her today. It's what she has done beyond that with her life that truly distinguishes her as the Norris awardee this year. Maureen has had opportunities and then set about and acted on them. A backseat driver she is not, for sure. It's with great pride that I present the 2017 Norris Heritage of Freedom Award to Mrs. Maureen Nunn.
Donovan, thank you so much, and thank you so much for this committee for making this possible today. Maybe you don't know this, but this is a very small committee, and they work so hard, and their only agenda is to provide a wonderful celebration for the 4th of July with patriotism and freedom as their motto. I want to especially thank Devin Hardwick, whose parents, Denise and Brian Hardwick, started this 56 years ago. And I am really sitting with an entire group of heroes, from the apple pie contest that started to the setup that happened yesterday, to the essay contest. You are absolutely brilliant. To the young man who sang the Star Spangled Banner. And all of the presentations here today are just really noteworthy. So just to give you a little bit of idea of this how this started, Donovan Black called me a couple of months ago, and he said to me, Maureen, you have been selected to receive the Kenneth T. Norris Jr. Heritage of Freedom Award. That's exactly what happened. And for me not to be able to talk is noteworthy. So I said to Donovan, you've got to be kidding. And Donovan said, no, I'm not. And I said, but you must be kidding. And then he said, he just not. And I said, I insist. And if you take nothing away from today, it's that Maureen Nunn insists that she's just an ordinary person having extraordinary opportunities. So Donovan said, Maureen, just be gracious and say thank you. So thank you, Donovan. Thank you. So I'm still having to pinch myself for this incredible honor that has been given me today. I think this is so off the grid of anything that I've ever received before, except maybe for the wedding proposal, the marriage proposal of my husband John 48 years ago. Thank you. So just in reflecting on what this award means to me, it means freedom are the practices and the traditions that are inherited from the past, what we are blessed with in America from our birth. Freedom is a privilege. We are free in this country to do our own thinking. And a deeper reflection about what freedom means, when Donovan said, you know, Maureen, this is the Heritage of Freedom Award, I had visions of doves with olive branches in their beaks and flags waving like today, and this incredible band playing patriotic, wonderful songs, and the Statue of Liberty standing on top of the world. Our roots were planted by people who came here in search of freedom, and they came in countless numbers and made America a melting pot of all races and cultures. I am a former classroom teacher. I love teaching. However, if I were in charge of all of education, I would insist that all students who are graduating from high school and from college would have to have a passport, and they would have to go to a developing country, and they would have to have it stamped. So they would have to have the experience of being in a developing country. And actually just going through the day of getting water from a well, because there is no running water in these homes, and there is no electricity, there's no television sets, no radios, no stoves, no refrigerators. How many of you here today, raise your hand, have been to a developing country? Oh my goodness, so I'm talking to a very well-traveled group. Thank you so much for your incredible participation. You should come on stage and join me for all your wonderful work. So today I was going to tell you a very brief story about how Donovan mentioned that I have a connection to Uganda. Uganda is you probably already know this, but Uganda is a country in East Africa, and it's landlocked with Kenya, Sudan, Congo, Rwanda, and Tanzania. And this connection started in 1971 when my parents had read about Uganda. And again, Winston Churchill is going to be quoted again, because Winston Churchill said that Uganda was the pearl of Africa. And it's the pearl of Africa because of the source of the Nile River, Lake Victoria, and the beautiful mountains. It's the size of the state of Oregon. I understand that you're moving to Oregon, so it's the size of the state of one of our recipients is moving there. So it's the size of the state of Oregon. It has 32 million people. Most of the people live in poverty, and it's because of the political situation, and so they don't have health care, and they don't have access to going to school. The children will do anything at all to be able to get school fees to be able to go to school, unlike Los Angeles Unified School District, where more than 50% of the students are dropping out before they graduate. So in Uganda, my parents went to Uganda in 1971, and they went to church in the capital, which is Kampala. And after the mass service, the priest extended his hand, came over to my parents, and extended his hand and said, "Welcome to Uganda," in perfect English with a British accent, because maybe all of you know that Uganda was a British colony. And so the language is Luganda, but in school they all learned how to speak English with a British accent. So this priest extended his hand, "Welcome to Uganda," and he took my parents all over the capital city for the entire day. And at the end of the day, they promised that they would keep in touch. So they exchanged addresses, and they kept in touch for 35 years, which was an incredible relationship that they have. So my parents said, I didn't even know this, my parents both died by 1999, but they had sent little bits of money to this priest to build a church in a local parish community. Well, fast forward ahead from 1999 to 2007, Father Francis Mainja, who is here today, it's such a blessing that he's here today, from Uganda, he phoned me in 2007, and he said, "Maureen, the church that your parents had given some money is going to be completed, and you have to come to the dedication of the church." This is on the phone. So he said, "You need to come to Uganda," and my head was bobbing up and down, and then it was going like this, and I'm not going, yes I'm going, no I'm not going. I didn't even really know where Uganda was. So at the end of the conversation, "Will you please come to Uganda for the dedication of the church, the church that your parents were so instrumental in helping build?" And I don't know for any of you, but when I said yes and I wanted to say no, I hung up the phone, and I was actually staring at the phone in the fact that, yes, I'm going to Uganda. So in 2007, I went to Uganda. Is there anybody here in this audience who's been to Uganda? Oh my goodness, good for you. That's great. So, as I said, in 2007, I went to Uganda, and I was so lucky to be with Father Francis Mainja, who had completed this jewel of a church. It was absolutely incredible. So I try to go every year because the people are just so warm and welcoming. And and they value education so much. They really want to stay in school, and as I mentioned, they value education as the passport to success, and given the chance, they will walk long distances after they gather water from a well. And I went with them one day and went to the well, and they get the water from the well in jerry cans, and I think I probably dislocated my shoulder in some way. It's just an incredibly arduous day. So I go to Uganda to give something back, the little tiny bit that I can give back of something of meaning that began with my parents in 1971. And I truly love the people of Uganda. And that originated, as I just said, in 1971. So Father Francis, who will give the benediction later today, he's the unofficial relative of our family. And I have virtually created a second family with the Ugandan people. I see the despair, yet I witness hope and smiles in abundance. I see the worst of poverty conditions, yet people appear clean and well kept. I'm showered with acceptance and with a longing to return every year. And thank God for my husband, John, who is so supportive and doesn't need a hot cooked meal every evening at 6 o'clock. So I go for quite a long time. So the wonderful support of my family. And I help the women, just whatever I can do. I help the women with education. And I'm such a better person for knowing them. But again, I want to tell Donovan and the whole committee that I insist that I'm just an ordinary person who's had extraordinary opportunities. And a very good friend of mine and a personal hero, I got to know him very well, and he made my life better, was Louis Zamperini, who's been quoted in your essay today. And he was a World War II veteran, and she was wonderful in describing his life. He called me kid, and he said, kid, people who volunteer and doing good for someone, I'm reading this direct quote from Louis Zamperini, doing good for someone outside yourself makes you feel good and increases those natural feel-good endorphins that you can get without using drugs. Well said. My grandchildren who are here today volunteer by making and sewing blankets to give to sick babies. And I'm sure there are many of you here that volunteer in hospitals, churches, marine mammal centers, libraries. In fact, when I Googled volunteer opportunities in Palos Verdes, there were 515 opportunities that came up. So indeed, there are so many here, just right here. You don't have to go to Uganda. You don't have to travel outside of Palos Verdes to be able to volunteer. The Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts helped set this up today. Los Hermanos. There's just so many. If you want to talk to one of my heroes, Betsy Biggins, talk to her about Hunger Heroes. She's right over here. And it's just an amazing thing that she's doing. I don't know if Liz Cantine is here today. Liz Cantine is my personal hero right at the back there. She not only teaches dance to fully able people, but she teaches dance to children with special needs. And if you ever have the opportunity to go to see one of her ready, willing, and able groups, you will just, the roof goes off at the Norris Theater. It's just incredible. So there are people here really who could join me on the stage. All of you are doing something to volunteer to make this country such a great place. In closing, when Donovan said, the Heritage Award, I got to thinking of Margaret Mead, whose famous quote was, "Never doubt a group of thoughtful, committed citizens in the world can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And Mother Teresa, of course, is one of my favorites, and she said, "Spread love everywhere you go, and love begins with a smile." So in closing, I really want to thank you so heartily for this incredible award. Again, take it away. I insist that I'm an ordinary person who's just had extraordinary circumstances. And again, I will accept this award from you, but for all of you, because it is really true that one person can light the darkness and add so much joy and happiness to the world. So thank you so much. It's just an honor and a privilege, and God bless you all.